Welcome to the Magic in the Cloud podcast, where exceptional visionaries reveal the personal journeys behind their remarkable success. This is a conversation with leaders who've transformed industries by navigating pivotal moments, making bold decisions, and cultivating extraordinary teams. We explore the turning points that define their careers, those instances where intuition met strategy and everything changed. It's an intimate look at the leadership philosophies that drive revolutionary outcomes, with cloud solutions as the quiet enabler. Here are your hosts, Joseph Griffith and Ryan Golombeski.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Magic in the Cloud. Our next guest brings a wealth of experience from the cutting-edge world of manufacturing, where precision, people, and purpose all collide to shape the future of custom machinery and production. She not only drives results at a highly respected contract manufacturer, but she also is cultivating a workplace where collaboration and loyalty have built a team with decades-long tenure. And believe me, a lot of people there a long time. As she says, because when people come, they stay. Her journey begins on a dairy farm in Wisconsin. We'll cover that. But it's her deep empathy, clarity of purpose, and her commitment to lifting others that sets her apart as a true leader. With that, everybody, welcome to my next guest, Quinn Williams. Thanks for coming on, Quinn.
Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure. So let's start with the real kicker here, the dairy farm. So you grew up on a dairy farm.
I did.
And now you lead marketing in one of the most respected custom manufacturing companies in the country. How did that journey from feeding cows to feeding strategy? Yeah. How did that shape you for today? And how does it show in your leadership?
Yeah, it's a weird world because they're not really two worlds apart, but they are. So yeah, I grew up on a dairy farm, central Wisconsin. I'm the oldest of 6 children, and I have 1 brother and 5 sisters, or 4 sisters, sorry. And growing up, like, I would milk cows before school. I would go to school. I would come home from school. I would milk cows and do some sports in the middle. It teaches you a lot of discipline. You realize that the cows are there and they need what they need. So it's not like you can not milk, you cannot take care of them. So it gives you a lot of discipline, and you learn at a young age that things are dependent on you. So you have to always be there for them. So growing up on a farm, I had the dream of every little girl, and I wanted to be a vet. And I was like, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to be a vet and I'm going to work with animals. And I did ride-alongs with vets. And I was like, yes, this is what I want to do. And I went into college. I went to the University of River Falls, Wisconsin. And I was like, yes. And I went to my first semester of chemistry and I was like, no. I am not doing this for the rest of my life. This is not as easy as just, hey, this cow has a twisted stomach. This is like real hardcore stuff. So then I really sat back a little bit and was like, where do I want to go with my life? And what do I want to do? And I realized, and one of my advisors suggested, you can still be in agriculture. You grew up in that. That's something you like. So why don't you look into teaching or marketing or with an agriculture emphasis? And I was like, I like picking apart ads. I like watching TV. I like doing all those things. And it was something where I was like, that is what influences people every day. And as you grow up, you want to be a people person. And so I was like, if I can do something like that. So I went into marketing with an ag emphasis, so I kept my background. I learned how to influence people in a different way than being around them with cattle or farming.
So we made the jump from cattle to people, all because of chemistry.
All because of chemistry.
That's what
I heard. And my teacher was great, but it was one of those things where I was like, I don't think this is just ever going to click with me. I think that this is something that I'm just going to have to agree to the fact that I am not a chemical person. I can talk it. I worked for a dairy chemical company straight out of college. I didn't get far from the chemistry world there, but if I have to come up with the solutions for it, I am not the person.
That's not your thing.
No, I'm the person you want making your brochure or telling you why it's great, not the person actually telling you to use it.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about Preco, where you work now. Talk to us a little bit about how the company's evolved to where it is today.
Yeah, so Preco started out in two different worlds. So Preco itself was a die cutting manufacturer that started in Lenexa, Kansas. And so Preco created itself as that. And then it purchased Laser Machining Industries in Somerset, Wisconsin, which is where I work. So then they merged the two worlds together and became a rotary die cutting, flatbed die cutting, and laser company, where we also do contract manufacturing. We cover the whole gamut of things, where a lot of companies are either laser companies or die cutting companies or contract manufacturing companies. We are a company of everything.
And I know you're under NDA, so we can't talk about your logos. And I know you've got some probably lesser known and some pretty well-known names.
Correct.
But when we talk about Preco, I know we'll get to culture and people in a second. But when we talk about your approach to machinery, what are the one or two things about the organization that stand out in the marketplace? What do people say about Preco?
Yeah, I think some of the greatest things that we do is we're here for the customer the whole way through. If you come to us and you say, we're looking for this concept and we're looking for a machine, and in the process of making your machine, we need to do some contract manufacturing, we're here to help you do all of it. If you need us to custom make you a machine, we're here for it. If you are just getting started and need some contract manufacturing done, we're your partner in that. If you have a concept already created, great. If you don't and you need some help, we've also got the R&D and the people that'll be able to do that for you. So we're here to be your partner through the whole thing and not have to outsource you when you say, we want a machine and we want to bring it in-house, but we don't have it yet. We're there to say, great, while we're building you a machine, we can run your product on that same machine on our floor.
Really?
Or that it works, and we can run it for you until that machine is in your building.
Really? So you could actually, if I had a crazy idea that needed a crazy machine, while you're building the machine, you have facilities that could help me manufacture the product until mine's ready. Is that what I just heard?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
There are some limitations, I won't say.
Yeah, 100%. I totally get it. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah.
But for the we can run your product while we're making your machine.
Yeah, because there's that's awesome, because, and you're the expert in this area, but if I have a perception that what I need is a differentiator for me in the market, I'd be surprised that you might have some things on the floor that could come close. But I get your point, which is you're able to at least split the gap. I think in general, specialty manufacturing isn't something you do overnight. So it could take a little while to build that special machine. And so you provide I think I heard two things. One, you provide a gap, a really great gap in between production ready and needed now, and then their machine being able to take over. And you're saying that the differentiator is actually the collaborative process.
Yes.
That's what I think I'm hearing.
Yep.
Early in the intro, we talked about people come and they stay. Your employee retention's like through the roof, right? You have a lot of people that have been there like more than 20 years, I think, right?
It's crazy.
What do you think's the secret sauce? Yeah, share some of those numbers. And what do you think the secret sauce is? Because customer retention's a big issue these days. People are looking for good help. All that, nothing's changed. What do you think your secret sauce is?
I think it's totally a combination of the people, the collaboration. You know, what Preco offers isn't just your boring old everyday manufacturing. So if you're an engineer or somebody who's looking to do a variety of things, Preco is here for that variety of things. We make laser machines, we make die cutting machines, we do contract manufacturing. There's never a boring day at Preco. And I think that it leads to the way that our management and our company, how we are with our employees. They're not going to stay we've got 6 employees that have been here over 35 years. We've got 80 employees that have been here over 20 years, I think. So it's just, once you come, you stay. I made a joke recently with one of the people that got hired at the same time as me. I've been here for 6 years, and we said 5 years is the mark. If you make it past 5 years, you're going to be here for 35 years. 35. So you're here for the long run. So that seems, for us, it's the younger people that sometimes nowadays tend to still jump a little bit, which is totally understandable. Not a lot of people are staying at the same company they first started at. But there's also a lot of people that even now have been here 5, 10, 15 years before the whole staying at your company forever kind of thing.
Yeah. So if I hear you, you're saying that certainly if you're there for over 5 years, you're not going anywhere. You can forget having to redo your resume and all that. You're just going to stay there.
No, we're stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, you're stuck. But are you saying that, I think what I heard is you keep it really interesting. And I guess I'll relate to it this way. I've been fortunate to work a lot of verticals. And believe me, there's a lot of money in some of the other verticals, right? Like financial services and healthcare and all that. But I've always found manufacturing to be the most interesting, right? The most interesting. No disrespect to insurance policies and annuities and all that good stuff. But manufacturing has been interesting. So I think if I'm interested in that, in a manufacturing career, what you're saying is you guys are probably at the pinnacle of interesting. You should see what we did today with this, and you should see what we did with that. Of course, half of it you probably can't say because you're NDA.
Yeah.
But in general, what you're saying is we probably have one of the most interesting work environments out there, even for manufacturing.
Oh, yeah. We do anything we do die cutting, we do packaging, we do cladding, welding, metal stuff. So our portfolio is vast. And I wish I could tell you some of the crazy things that have come through here that people have asked us to do. And our engineers are like, yeah, sure, we'll give it a try and figure that out. And it's some of the coolest products that are out there, but they're trying to make them better. And sometimes we get obviously you win some, you lose some, but it's always something different. And when I go into meetings or see in Salesforce some of the opportunities that we have, it's like, I would never have thought that we would be working on that project.
Yeah, there just has to be some of the craziest ideas. And I definitely went back to middle school, and I'm thinking to myself, I guess for the folks in the audience who are in the manufacturing space, they're like, hey, we should come to Preco to find diversity and super interesting. But for those of us who haven't been hands-on in that world, I'm like, it's like being back in shop class in 8th grade, where it's 2 weeks with wood and 2 weeks with metal, and you're meld and you're soldering, and then maybe throw in a home ec class, you're baking a cake and you're doing this. And at the end of the semester, you're like, wow, I got my hands on 15 different things.
Exactly. But for me in marketing, it's great because it keeps everything busy. It keeps it interesting. I'm always doing something else. But at the same time, over the years, we've gotten pretty wide with our offerings. So now we're paring them down. We still do everything, but we focus on a couple areas, which is great because for me, that means that we can excel in a lot more things, even though we do other things just as well.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about your actual role. And if you could, just to brag a little bit, I know you're a modest person, but talk a little bit more about your role and tell us a story about one or two things you're proud of making a difference at Preco.
So I am the Vice President of Marketing for Preco, and it's great, like I said, because it's so diverse. And I think some of the great things when I came in, our department changed a lot. We historically were a marketing communications department. And when I came in, we turned ourselves into that full-on outward bound marketing department. So we were able to increase our leads, increase our awareness, and get better leads into our sales guys rather than just kind of anybody who stumbled upon us. We changed our direction. We went hard on our SEO. We decided to do a lot more campaigns. We did some more advertising, things like that to get the Preco name out there rather than kind of having customers just stumble upon us and then say, wow, this is a great company and we're going to stick with this company because they make a great product. We now are like, come look at us rather than fumble upon us and then stay with us.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of something I heard years ago. And today we talk about things like ICP, ideal customer profile. I know you're doing some work around Net Promoter Score, which is how likely is someone to refer Preco to someone else. It reminds me, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, when I was wondering why a lot of customers weren't calling me back, because I was just doing old school voicemails and custom emails and all that. And I remember the summary was, Joe, you don't need to tell us you're out there. We just need to know that we can find you when we need you. And I think for you, right, I think what I hear you saying is you certainly are exploring what other customers might need you.
Yep.
And then what you're doing is you come up with strategies to let them know that you're here. And when the need arises, they know how to find you. Is that fair?
Yeah. And the other part of it is a lot of the customers that we had didn't know that we offered. Because we have a machine customer that they also did contract manufacturing, and they had no idea that we could offer that if their machine was running over capacity, that they could call us and be like, hey, can you do some short runs for us? Or they had a project where they couldn't bring the machine in-house yet. They didn't have the ROI for it, that they could call us and we would do that for them. And vice versa, that a company didn't know that, yeah, we built our own machines. So we're doing your contract manufacturing, and at a certain point, it makes sense for you to pull it in-house. But we can build you the machine to have you pull it in-house. You don't have to go somewhere else and look for that. We're running it on a machine that we built, so we'll just build you the same machine.
Yeah. So you'd love it when clients say, I didn't know you could do that. You just want them to tell you that sooner than later.
And it's a double-edged sword, because I love it when customers say that, because it opens up so many more doors. Yeah. But at the same time, when they're saying it, it's, ooh, did I not do my job well enough that you didn't know that we also did that? But
yeah, we could probably do a whole discussion on that. This research I was doing years ago, like, why aren't you calling me back?
Right.
I came up with another thought, which was, it seemed as though if I was sending you a bill, then I earned the right to tell you more. We also do this, we also do that. Yeah. But as soon as the bill stopped, no more invoices. Then 90 days later, they forgot. And then the second thing was, if you're sending them a bill for service A, within 90 days, they'll forget that you do service B, C, D, and E. So it was like, wow, even if we're sending you a bill, we still have to keep telling you what we do, because people will forget. They just remember the one thing or the three things you're doing, not the 10 things you're doing. Yeah, that's I think you'd do really well if you came up with a podcast on, hey, these are the 10 things to do to alleviate that. Is that kind of equated? They say infatuation lasts 90 days. And generally, maybe that's what happened, right? Customers fall in love with you for 3 months, and then infatuation wears off, and they're like, I didn't know they could do that. I'm like, oh, crap.
Yeah. And it's part of it too is marketing to, we have a lot of large companies that we work with that not all of their divisions talk to each other. It's making sure that we're marketing to all the different divisions of all these large companies, because we get emails all the time, requests for a quote from a company that we've worked with, and we call them and we say, hey, we've got a machine in your plant. And they're like, you do?
Yeah, sure.
With this other division,
we're sending you a bill. Like I said, we're sending you a bill.
We send you a bill all the time. Send you a bill. With this other division, or we're doing contract manufacturing for you in this division. And that's always helpful, because then they know that we're a trusted partner of theirs. It's funny how a lot of large companies don't have lists of these things, or don't talk to each other until they find you. And then it's, oh no, we've been doing business with you for 20 years. So yeah, we know all about your stuff.
Nice. That's really cool. You should be really proud of your accomplishments at Preco. I know I've known you for a while now, and I really respect what you've done. Let's shift gears and talk a little about you. I know I would let the audience know about the cows, the cow farm. I want to talk a little bit about mentors. Can you share a story about a pivotal mentor in your life?
Yeah, there's one particular, and it was my high school ag teacher. My family has known him for years. I couldn't wait to get into high school and be able to take his ag classes. And he was one of those, not so much of a teacher, of more of a life person. If he's going to teach you something about agriculture, he's going to take you out in a field. You're going to go for a walk in the park and look at all the different trees and find out what they do. And he was in my life for years. He was my FFA advisor. He ran our county, or not our county fair, our town fair. And he was one that kind of gave me the nudge, besides being a farmer, to keep in the agriculture industry, because I always told him, like, if I ever have a fallback, I'm just going to be an ag teacher like you, which I decided that I didn't really want to be a teacher. But I always told him that was my fallback in life. I'll just be a teacher. And he was always there to help everybody. If you weren't doing so great in class, he was the first one to help you get a better grade. He wanted to explain things in a way that everybody understood and everybody knew why you needed, why agriculture was a part of everybody's life, even for the kids who lived in the city and didn't understand cows or farming at all. This still is a part of everything that you do. And he was one of those teachers that you just never forget, just the way he was and the way that he cared about everybody.
And do you mind if I ask his name?
You can. His name is Gary Bistrom. So he was my ag teacher for years in central Wisconsin. He's super well known. He's probably well known much farther around, but yeah, he's the one that pushed me to keep in the ag world in some way. And I owe a lot to him.
And I appreciate you sharing. I can feel the passion for many things above and beyond the curriculum that is teaching. And to your point, I thought a few times about teaching. I think the more I've learned about what it takes to be a good teacher, the more I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I could cut it.
No.
I don't know if I could cut it. I could teach one class, but by 3 o'clock coming around, I'm like, I'm out of gas. Yeah.
I always thought it would be fun, like, to be a teacher. Like, this is a good gig. Like, you get to share your passion with the kids and do all these things. And when you get into college, you're like, I don't know if I can deal with all these rowdy kids. Especially, he was a high school teacher, so especially at the high school age. And so that pushed me away from it a little bit too.
Question: have you had the opportunity to thank him? And if so, how did that go?
I don't know that I've straight up said thank you for everything that you've done for me and everything I've learned from you throughout the years. But I'd like to think that he knows what he's done. I've said it along the years, like I said, that I have a fallback because of him, is I just be an ag teacher. And we kept in touch throughout the years, and I still see him once in a while. I live farther away now, but I like to think that he knows, like, the impact that he's had on people's lives.
And I'm sure he does. And I would encourage you the next time you see him to let him know. I had a calculus teacher that just was incredible, Mr. Carfagno. And can't tell you why, but I just felt this desire. And I had a lot of great teachers. We all did, hopefully. But I'm like, I'm going to reach out to him. Yeah, he won't remember me. And listen, if you didn't remember me, that's fine. But I called Mr. Carfagno, and he, as a calc teacher, he taught me calculus. But really what he taught me was show your work, right? Because if you so many times I might get 9 out of 10 on a problem with a completely wrong answer.
Yep.
I'm like, Mr. Carfagno, why 9 out of 10? Is you had all 8 steps. You just took 2 plus 2 over here and you got 8.
Yep.
Instead of 4, and now everything else was off. But you had all the right steps. So it was show the work. And of course, when you show the work and you make a mistake, you can go back, look at your work, and uncover your mistake and then learn from that. And I called him and I mentioned, and he actually said, I remember you, 7th period, front of row 3. I'm like, holy smokes. And I had a chance to tell him thank you. Do you know he passed away 2 years later?
Oh.
So I was like, holy man. I'm like, hey, you got to remember, if you think about somebody, take a few minutes and say thanks. So knowing that you bump into him once in a while, I would encourage you to tell him. Even if he knows it, I guarantee he's going to be supercharged to hear it from you.
Yeah.
What do you do to recharge outside of work?
Oh, nothing. I have kids.
I knew where that was going.
Yeah, no, in all honesty, like, I have 2 kids. I have a 14-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter, and they are hardcore into their sports right now. There was one time this spring, I think we were playing 5 sports at the same time. So it's not necessarily recharging, but it's being able to see my kids do something that they love and being able to give that to them. You like playing hockey? Great. Let's play hockey. You want to play softball, baseball, football? Great. You let me know what you want to do. And I think that's, for me, seeing my kids be able to do things that they love is exactly what I wanted in becoming a parent. That they weren't just kids that or not raising kids that didn't want to go out and explore the world, but seeing kids that want to do things. They want to go camping. They want to go fishing. They want to play all their sports, and you only get so many years with them. So even though it's grueling and exhausting, and sometimes you just want to go to sleep instead of driving around all night, that's the thing that I love. And I love doing it with them. And I get to see my friends. We're not gonna say that my friends aren't also there, because part of that is I get to hang out with all the moms that I'm friends with because all of their kids are also there.
Yeah, I think that's an underrated benefit from doing all that for your kids, is you do meet a lot of other people with different interests, yet they have a similar interest in supporting their kid through that journey, especially with sports. Can I ask, have you offered, required, or even mentioned cow farming or working on a farm?
To my kids?
Yeah.
No. No, they were. So
Mom, can you show us how to milk a cow?
Milk a cow. They actually make fun of me when we go to like rural communities where it's like a little, because like I live in a rural community, but not too much of a farming area. And when we go to like more rural areas, like where you open the door and you smell like the farms, my kids always make the joke to me. They're like, does it smell like home? And I'm like, it does. In all honesty, it brings me back to the days when I was milking cows. But no, my parents actually sold their farm 12 years ago. So my son got a little taste, like as a baby, of being around cows and things like that. But I don't think they're really, I love them, but I don't think they're destined to be
They're not cow farming material.
No, they're not cow farming material.
Yeah. So, but we'll let the working on a farm serve as a great experience, like you said earlier, for commitment, dedication, discipline, sense of urgency, all those kind of cool things.
Right.
How about we talked about the kids, and I know they keep you busy. Does it leave at any time? And if so, for anything else personal on your side?
A little bit. We get some weeks off here and there. We are big. We go camping. So we do that. We have some land up a couple hours north of here on a lake that we go to. My husband and I love traveling. So we take trips and do stuff like that just to get out and get back into the recharged world of not running around with kids or running around at our careers. And it's a very little limited time, but it's definitely fun and worth it.
Yeah, that sounds great. Just a chance to get away, like you said, and disconnect. I've been looking at a few things that tell I think we disconnect.
Oh,
but I don't think we actually literally disconnect, right? Try putting your phone in a drawer for a whole day, not just at nighttime at 10, but for a whole day. Can you actually stay off social media, email, texting? But for those, go ahead.
No, I said that was the good thing. Like my husband and I have been on a couple cruises, and you can buy the Wi-Fi there, but for the most part, you're like, you know what? I'm going to disconnect from the world. So my kids are with their grandparents, and if they have an issue, they've raised children, so they know how to take care of it. So I'm not talking to the world. And a couple of years ago, our friends got married in the Dominican Republic, and
yeah, nice.
Great, there's cell phone service there, and I could talk to my kids and stuff. But I was like, I'm disconnecting my work email. Like I am spending 8 days here at my friend's wedding, and I'm not checking to see if there's an issue. Please call, and I will answer you. But other than that, I'm not getting online.
My last question is, if you could look back at your younger self, what would you tell your younger self about what you've learned?
Oh man, that's I would say that there's times when I should not have taken things that were happening as seriously as I did. Especially, I mean, like high school, you prepare for college, but there's things where it's like, this is so minor in the grand scheme of your life that you're making it out to be a major thing, and it's not. But make sure that you're taking the chance to, live up to the other things. When my children were little, I took some time off of working so that I could raise them. And it was one of the best things that I did, was being able to be around my kids when they were just little and developing and things like that. And I know everybody can't do that. But just being present for that is something that I was grateful for. And then as they got older and went to school full time, going back into to work full time was just as great. I mean, I love my job, so I have no qualms about my decision there. But I think a lot of times when I was younger, I took way too many things seriously, and it was like, this doesn't mean anything. And you just got to make sure that as you grow older, you're understanding what those important things are that you need to make time for, or that you should be worried about.
So your younger self would say of you, hey, you're much more chill than you used to be. You don't take things as seriously.
Yeah.
And what I think is the toughest thing, we were talking about that with your recharge, trying to be present is just really tough these days, right?
It's so hard. Yeah. With everything going on, just even going and sitting at a hockey game for an hour sometimes is hard enough, but you just got to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Quinn, I can't thank you enough for being a part of the show. Our listeners are going to love the conversation. Tell us how people can reach you, and please share your contact information.
Sure. You can reach me at, my email is Quinn, Quinn, .Williams with an S at PrecoLLC.com. Or you can visit our website, PrecoLLC.com, and take a look at what we have to offer there and reach out to us if you have something.
That's awesome. This has been super cool. I appreciate you. I thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
This brings us to the end of another episode. I'll see everybody on the next one.
Magic in the Cloud podcast requires more than a conversation. It takes action, research, and collective wisdom. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your insights. Join the conversation and help us shape the future together. We'll be back with more stories, strategies, and real-world solutions that are making a difference for everyone. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, rate, write a review, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it too. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.